When the drumbeat changes, the dancers must adjust their steps. In a dramatic development that sent waves through Nigeria's security establishment, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has removed Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun and appointed Assistant Inspector General Tunji Disu as the new head of the Nigeria Police Force. The decision reportedly triggered jubilation at the force headquarters in Abuja, marking the end of a controversial tenure that had drawn criticism over allegations of rights abuses and financial mismanagement. Egbetokun, who was appointed in June 2023, shortly after Tinubu assumed office, had initially been seen as a trusted ally of the president. His appointment came at a time when Nigeria was grappling with rising insecurity, including banditry in the northwest, kidnappings along major highways, and separatist tensions in parts of the southeast. Supporters believed his experience and perceived loyalty would help stabilize the force during a turbulent period. However, his tenure became increasingly contentious. Critics accused him of presiding over a police system that struggled to curb violent crime effectively while facing repeated allegations of human rights violations. Civil society groups raised concerns about heavy-handed operations, arbitrary arrests, and alleged misuse of funds within the force. Though no court conviction directly established wrongdoing against him, the perception of controversy persisted and shaped public discourse around his leadership. One of the most debated aspects of Egbetokun's time in office was the extension of his service beyond the statutory retirement age. President Tinubu had signed an amendment to the Police Act allowing the Inspector General to complete a full 4-year term even if it extended beyond retirement thresholds. That move sparked criticism from legal analysts and opposition figures who argued it altered established norms to benefit a specific office holder. Supporters, on the other hand, insisted the amendment provided stability and continuity in national security leadership. His resignation on Monday, following months of speculation about his standing within the administration, appears to close that chapter. Reports of cheers and visible celebration among some officers at the force headquarters reflect internal divisions that may have existed within the ranks. Leadership changes at the top of the police often ripple through the institution, affecting morale, command structure, and operational direction. Stepping into the role is Tunji Disu, a seasoned officer with approximately 30 decades of service. Disu previously served in strategic roles, including leading anti-crime operations in Lagos and heading various investigative and tactical units. Known for his operational background, he has been associated with crime suppression efforts and coordinated responses to urban criminal networks. His appointment signals a potential shift toward tactical restructuring as Nigeria approaches another election cycle next year. The timing of this leadership change is significant. With elections on the horizon, security agencies will play a critical role in maintaining order and ensuring credible democratic processes. The Inspector General's office is central to election security logistics, crowd control, and coordination with other security institutions. Disu's immediate challenge will be to project neutrality, strengthen internal discipline, and reassure citizens that policing will remain professional and impartial. Despite optimism from some quarters, skepticism remains. Observers have noted that both Egbetokun and Disu share regional ties to the southwest, particularly within the Yoruba political sphere. For critics, this raises questions about whether the leadership change represents structural reform or merely continuity under a different name. Nigeria's deeply diverse political landscape often magnifies perceptions of regional balance within top federal appointments. Supporters of the president argue that competence and track record, not ethnicity, guided the decision. They point to Disu's long service record and operational credentials as evidence that he is qualified for the position. They also emphasize that national security appointments must prioritize experience and trustworthiness, especially during periods of heightened insecurity. The Nigeria police force faces immense structural challenges: chronic underfunding, inadequate equipment, poor welfare conditions and training gaps have long affected its effectiveness. Beyond leadership personalities, these systemic issues demand reform. The incoming IGP will need to address internal accountability mechanisms, improve intelligence coordination, and rebuild public trust that has eroded over years of controversial incidents. Public trust is perhaps the most urgent priority. Over the last decade, Nigerians have repeatedly questioned police conduct, especially during protests and anti-crime operations. The memory of nationwide demonstrations against police brutality remains fresh, and any new IGP inherits that historical baggage. Disu's ability to foster transparency, engage civil society, and demonstrate zero tolerance for misconduct will shape how his tenure is perceived. At the same time, insecurity remains a pressing reality. Armed bandit groups continue to terrorize rural communities, kidnapping for ransom has become widespread, and insurgent remnants still operate in parts of the northeast. Urban crime in major cities like Lagos and Abuja presents additional complexity. The new IGP must coordinate closely with the military, intelligence agencies, and state authorities to deliver measurable improvements in safety. For President Tinubu, the removal of Egbetokun could be interpreted as a strategic recalibration. Leadership reshuffles often serve both political and administrative purposes. They can signal responsiveness to criticism, an attempt to reset public perception, or preparation for upcoming political milestones. Whether this move satisfies critics or merely shifts scrutiny to the new appointee remains to be seen. Within police ranks, the leadership transition may bring renewed expectations. Officers who felt marginalized or dissatisfied under previous management might anticipate fresh opportunities. However, continuity in institutional culture can also limit the pace of change. Real reform will require more than symbolic replacement. It will demand policy adjustments, oversight reinforcement, and investment in personnel welfare.
As Tunji Disu assumes office, he does so under intense national observation. The stakes are high. Nigeria's security architecture stands at a crossroads, balancing the need for firm law enforcement with constitutional protections of citizens' rights. The next year, especially with elections approaching, will test the professionalism and resilience of the police force. Ultimately, the measure of this transition will not be the applause that greeted it, but the outcomes that follow. If crime rates decline, public trust improves, and policing becomes more accountable, the change will be viewed as meaningful. If insecurity persists and controversies resurface, the leadership swap may be seen as cosmetic. In a nation yearning for safety and fairness, Nigerians will watch closely to see whether this turning point marks genuine reform or merely another rotation of power within a deeply challenged institution.